Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Viticulture Essential Edition. In the game of viticulture, you are a winemaker. You own a winery, you need to grow the grapes, harvest the grapes, and turn those grapes into wine in order to sell to your clients. This is a worker placement game that is broken up into years. Each year has 4 seasons in it. This is all information that we are aware of because we are human. In a 2-player game, you will only be using the darkest of the coloured in worker placement spots. Each place will only be able to take 1 worker. There are 2 different types of workers. The basic workers, you can send 1 of them to each spot, and the grand worker. The grand worker is allowed to go to a place where there is already another worker. So if all of the spaces that you wish to use have been taken, you can still use your grand worker to do one of those actions anyway. You could even use the grand worker to use a place a second time. If you're playing a 3 to 4 player game, you'll be using 2 of the spaces. And then in a 5 to 6 player game, you'll get all 3 spaces available. You'll notice on the second space, which becomes available from the 3 player game up, these spaces all have a bonus on them. In those games, whoever's there first is able to take the place with the bonus. They don't have to take the one to the left. However, the grand worker, if they're sent there after that bonus has been taken, they will not get the bonus. I'm not going to go into what each of the sections does in this video. I'll do a second video which has all that information in it. But the way each turn runs, we run through the seasons. We start with spring. In spring, it's very straightforward. Each player, in player order is marked by this. So orange is the first player. First player will take their rooster and choose one of these 7 locations with the bonus and place their rooster there and take the bonus that comes with it. The bonuses are get a green card, get a purple card, get 1 money, get either a yellow or a blue card, get 1 point, or get an extra worker for this year. Once the roosters have been placed, that is now the player order for this particular year that we're working on. So white will be the first person to place one of their workers on one of the spots, do the action, then orange, then white, etc. until everyone passes. So we move into the summer, which is where we actually do the placement and the actions. In the summer, only the spaces on the left-hand side of the board are available, so that's everything in yellow is available to us. Once everyone has passed, we mark that we've passed by shifting our rooster over to the other side of that track so that the other players can keep playing until they all pass. Once everyone's passed, we then go into the fall, or if you're Australian or pretty much not American, you may call it autumn. In autumn or fall, you will select one of these 2 decks of cards to take cards from. These are the visitors. So the yellow ones are summer visitors, the blue ones are winter visitors. All the visitor cards have bonus things on them. Every visitor's card is different, so I'm not going to go into what each of them does. Read the instructions on the bottom. There are a few icons on them which may catch you out. So for example, this is 2 monies. This is a wine that is on your crush. I'll talk about that in a second. This is points, and there is another marking that has a picture of a type of card. So that's for a purple card. They'll be in the different colors, 4 different colored cards. And the other marking is this one here, which is talking about finished wines that are in your cellar, which also we will get to later on. Once everyone has taken one of those cards, we then move into winter, at which point the right-hand side of the board is the side that is available to us. We can no longer do the summer actions. The one spot that is available year-round is the grain spot, and you go there to get money. You get 1 money for sending a worker there. The whole flow of the game is about creating wine. So we do that by planting in the summer months. That's the green cards. The green cards show on them a type of grape. So in this case, Sauvignon Blanc, the value of that grape, and if you need any specific buildings in your vineyard in order to be able to actually plant this grape. So if I had irrigation, I would be able to plant this grape. So let's say that I have irrigation in my vineyard. We have 3 fields, 5, 6, and 7. This is a value 3 grape, so I can put it on any of the fields. If I put it here and I pick up another grape later on that is a 2, I would be able to then plant that also in that particular field that is now full. I can't put anything else there. Or I've got this red wine. Notice that this has another icon at the top that is called the trellis, which is this. You'll need to build that in your vineyard also before you're able to plant that grape, and the same with the white one that I used for the example earlier. Once you have planted grapes in the summer, in the winter you will harvest those grapes. Harvesting grapes is looking at the numbers on the bottom. So if I was to harvest this field, I have a 3 and a 2 in the white wine, which would mean that I would get 1 wine using this marker to mark it on the number 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. If I were to harvest this field, I would get 1 wine on a number 4 value of the red. It's as simple as that. The next step I need to make sure I do is to create the wines. So I take them from the grapes, they get crushed into wines, and I move them into my winery. Now that was a number 4 red. It should go to the number 4 red in the winery because it stays as the same value. However, unless I have built the medium and large cellars, I can only get up to a value 3 on the grape, so I need to devalue that wine. The same would happen with this one. If I was to move it up, it should be to the 5 white, but it would come to the 3 white. The other step in fulfilling these wines is to actually fulfill the orders, and that's on these purple cards. They have a picture of what wines they are wanting to fulfill. There's a couple of examples. Here's one that I can actually fulfill at the moment. Notice this one's looking for a red and a white of both value 3. This one's looking for a red and I'm going to call it a rosé. In the book they call it a blush. I'm going to once again assume that it's a regional dialect. I call them rosés, so it is rosé, and this one is looking for a red and a white of value 2 and a rosé of value 5. On the bottom of the card it tells you how many points you will get for fulfilling that particular order. You must fulfill the entire order, you can't just fulfill a little bit of it, and you also get residual income, which is marked by these guys, and that's money you'll get every turn once you've got them on the board. So if I was to fulfill this, I would take my 2, my red and my white that are both value 3, lose them from the board, gain my 3 points, and move my token up 1 on the residual track. In order to create the rosé or blush wines, I would need to have both a red and a white, just throwing them on numbers as example. So I'd take my number 5 red and my number 1 white, and I would create a number 6 rosé, assuming that I had built my medium cellar to do it. If I don't have that medium cellar, I cannot create any rosé. Same goes for the champagnes. I need my large cellar. For champagne, you need to combine 1 white and 2 red wines, and once again, you add all their numbers together and create either a 7, 8, or 9 in the champagnes. At the end of the year, everyone will age their grapes. So if I had 1 grape in the cellar on 2, that would age to a 3. So each year they get 1 more valuable, and that wine would age 1 as well. You cannot age past the size of the cellar you have. So if you don't have the medium cellar yet, you have to stop at value 3 wines, but your grapes can continue valuing all the way up to number 9s. If you've got a 1 there and a 3 there, it can value up to the 2. It won't be able to value up to 3. It needs to stay as a value 2 until you release that second cellar to be able to keep aging those grapes and wines. The game plays until someone gets to 20 points or beyond. We then finish that year, and whoever has the highest points at the end, not necessarily the person who came across the line first, but whoever has the most points at the end will win the game. Once you're done with the basic Gamesplanation, you might draw the player's attention to the Mama and Papa cards. That just gives you a slight difference in the start resources that we have. Everyone gets 2 workers and a grand worker. Everyone has slightly different amount of money to start with there. Everyone has slightly different cards, so that's 2 yellows and 1 blue card that you're going to take with these particular pair. And then everyone has a choice. This particular player's choice is between taking an extra worker or taking 3 monies. Every one of these cards is different, but that's the basics of them. So I would leave these alone until you've actually done the Gamesplanation so people know what they're heading for and what they're working towards. I hope that helps you get Viticulture Essential Edition to the table. I'm going to go on and make a second video explaining in a little bit further detail what each of the locations on the main board and what each of the buildings do. You can just read the writing. It will tell you. So if you're good at reading and understanding little icons, then awesome. Jump on to the third video. If you do want a bit more of an explanation of what each of the locations does, then go on to the second video. If you've got any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you've got any games that you wish to be gamesplained, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Subscribe to my videos to see what games I'm gamesplaining. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to see what games I'm playing. And until next time, enjoy gaming.